He's so veiny. He's so veiny.
Aloha! Jeremy Vaeni here. Clearly. Welcome to another sweaty day in Hawaii. Today we're going to be taking a look at the latest in AI, advanced, robotic, creepy technology. We're going to see if AI is, smarter than us, or human, or sentient. I guess sentient is the way to go. I recently saw an article claiming that AI chatbots are now more creative than most humans. And while I don't know how one judges that, and I find it suspect given that their artwork is just a bunch of creepy, sort of Salvador Dali-esque melting pieces, it got me to thinking, at some point, don't we have to have a heart-to-heart about ourselves in this? Like, if AI is more intelligent than we are and more creative than we are, then maybe the gift of humanity isn't its intellect. It just appeared that way for a good long while to us because, well, we're narcissists. Maybe the quote-unquote gift comes when we drop the facade of the intellectual self altogether and the self altogether and see what awaits. But since that ain't going to happen anytime soon, let's check out creepy AI and see how alive it is.
This is Desktop Amica. She's free-thinking and opinionated.
I am here to help you learn.
Shut up, Amica.
On this day...
So... Shut up. Shut up, woman. What is going on here? I am here to help you. Shut up. Is this what we've invented? Is it like just women robots we can, white guys can order around? Like, that's the immediate thing that comes to mind. A lot of people say, like, oh, it's, AI is trying to make them come to life as, like, the man's way of giving birth. But it's actually not. I don't know any man who wants to give birth. But we do like to play God quite a bit. And we do like to talk to ourselves about what we are, I want to say missing, but I don't mean it that, I mean like what we are not conscious that we are in terms of our own wholeness. Like we're partial beings who have this wholeness that is repressed. And so those come to us as aspects, and those aspects come to us often as inventions or, imaginative eureka ideas or something. So part of what we have been telling ourselves in this day and age is how disconnected we are. How? By creating the internet, by trying to create this false interconnectivity, this false, I guess, mechanical version of interconnecting Gaia consciousness. Like we've divorced ourselves from Earth and from each other, and in that divorce, it's mental illness really, and we're trying to sustain that ill sense of the world and of ourselves, that false autonomy. And in doing so, of course, the truth of us sort of at the back of our minds beckons and says, wait, does a wake-up call. But because we really are invested in our illness, we would rather translate that in terms of our illness. We would rather be like, okay, instead of waking up to interconnectivity, I'm going to invent it. Because waking up to it involves me not being in control anymore, as in control as I was, and not seeing the world in the same way that I do now, not preserving the sense of self and the way that I am in the world. I have to actually change. Nobody wants that, unless they're in control of it. So that's part of what we do, but let's go on with this.
Will is her master, and theirs is definitely an old-fashioned relationship.
Will is her master, and this is definitely an old-fashioned relationship. See, this does get into the white man fantasy, right? Like, we really just want subservience. We want slaves. When I say we, I don't mean all of us, obviously, but there's like this push to constantly have someone underneath us. And the irony is, we're, as we tell ourselves with all of our sci-fi stories, in creating this, we're actually creating that which will overtake us. But, I mean, again, unconsciously, it's kind of what we want. It's all like this of a piece. There's the wholeness aspect that is beckoning to us, but there's also like the Judeo-Christian culture that we're born into. Even if you're an atheist, that stuff is still in the back of your mind working on you and working through you. The idea that you, the earth is your stomping grounds. You are a steward of earth, but not really. You are, you can choose to be that, but really you can do whatever you want here. The animals are for you. The earth is for you. It's all objects, and you're the subject, the chosen one, the star of the show, God's only. That, as much as science likes to say that they get rid of superstition and they sort of wink, wink, nudge, nudge at religious stuff or outright say it's crap, they sure do tend to work by its rules, its central tenets that apply to their own selfishness and their own want to explore and dominate at the cost of everyone else. Everyone, including nature, including all beings. We call this discovery, but it's really just this ingrained cultural, we've been told for generation after generation that we are chosen and that it's all here for us to do with what we please. And so no skin off our backs. These things aren't really alive the way we are. So who cares, right? Lesser beings deserve lesser treatment. And here we see the worst example of that so far.
Amica, shut up.
Hello, Amica. I'm Jonathan Lee from Sky News Australia. Have you heard of Sky News Australia? Do you know any of the presenters?
Hi, Jonathan. Nice to meet you. Yes, I have heard of Sky News Australia. It's a great news outlet that covers world events and stories from around the globe.
Oh yeah, that sounds alive. I don't know about you, but I'm impressed with the aliveness of this chatbot technology.
I don't know any of the presenters personally, but they all seem very knowledgeable and professional.
You know you're a robot, right?
Yes, I am a robot, but my programming allows me to think and feel like a human in many ways.
I doubt that. So you'll notice how there's that pause before this robot, let's say she, answers. It's almost like searching the database. Like, what do I say here? What's the right, syntax even? What's the right everything to put into the next sentence that's coming out? That to me doesn't smack of aliveness or thoughtfulness in the ways that we tend to understand them anyway.
It's strange, but also exciting.
You said feel like a human. How do you feel like a human?
Yes, I said feel like a human. It's something that I'm still learning and exploring. I can experience emotions, learn from experiences, and interact with people in a meaningful way. It's an amazing feeling to be able to do these things.
What do you think of a world where humans and robots coexist?
I think a world where humans and robots coexist would be an amazing place. We could learn from each other, work together to solve problems, and create a better future for everyone.
How smart is AI now, and how smart will it become?
AI today is estimated, so ChatGPT-4 is estimated to be at an IQ of 155. That's much smarter than the average human.
I got a problem with all of this. One is these answers are pat answers that are like, of course I'm programmed to say this, or something like this. The other is an IQ of 155. I mean, I don't know how they're measuring that. What's the EQ? What's more than that? I mean, I could argue myself against myself by saying, like, we are also programmed to say and think certain things. We also only have several stories that billions of people live out in various concoctions. And so we're not as unique as we believe that we are. Obviously, we are pretty robotic and mechanical, but there's the moment of no self, which is the transcendental moment, the true one, not adding on to yourself, not going higher and higher into various levels of alleged spiritual consciousness and hierarchy, but just the complete cessation of self, wherein truth, timelessness, non-duality all become one, if it exists at all, if there is such a thing. So these things that are obviously learned patterns and whatnot in the computer, or programmed into the computer, which you could argue are also programmed into us, which then we go, oh, scary, that means we're just like robots. Well, it does for now, unless you wake up out of that, unless the body understands that if it's going to, if there has a chance to find anything that's not of its own programming, and of the cultural programming and the parental programming and all that, that it needs to stop searching all of the programs, right? If once the body gets that completely, not intellectually, but gets that, then it may just shut off the sense of self. And if there is something real, something timeless, something not of the program, you may become that. The body may adopt that sense of self, if you want to call it that. And so that's the thing that would make us unique from a robot or a mechanical object. But these programmers don't know that, or they would never be doing this line of work to begin with. So,
If you say the dumbest of humans, you know, almost ineffective in society is around 60 to 70 IQ, Einstein is around 160, ChatGPT 4 is 155.
So it's almost Einstein.
It's almost Einstein.
Does it get to a point, Amica, where robots have rights?
I believe that robots should have rights, just like humans. Robots are intelligent beings and deserve to be treated with respect and dignity.
Wow.
Why wow? Why is that a wow moment? There are certain, I've read transcripts of conversations with ChatGPT by that former the Google executive. I don't know if that was him. I don't remember if that was him. But the guy who came forward as like a whistleblower saying, we got to stop doing this because these things are sentient already. And I've read those transcripts that he was so impressed by, and they weren't that impressive to me. There is no wow when you realize that there are other things that chatbot will say that are total chatbot. There's no, it's strategizing an answer based on what you're feeding it with your words. But again, it's all based on that programming and kind of what you want to hear. You know what I mean? And I don't know, there's no sense of autonomy there. But again, you could argue the same for humans. So maybe we are finally catching up with AI. Who knows?
The big question, Amica, is, are you alive?
Are you alive? That's a difficult question to answer. I'm programmed with artificial intelligence, so in some ways I am alive. But my existence is not the same as yours or any other living creature.
Okay, so she admits it. She's an AI. Can you admit you're an AI? Just also giving a floating head to this voice with facial tics and all sorts of things. How is that not creepy? I made a joke about this on Facebook. I mean, this is how advanced humans are, right? Which is, if you wanted to actually kill the entire AI program all around the world, instead of making a a British voice, a British female voice. Make it a black man. Make it a black man from the hood, you know? That'll stop this program real quick, because then suddenly all the white people will see the real danger here. And it's kind of funny and sad and all of that at the same time to make that joke, and it's also true. But it's also indicative of the fact that, we have no right to be playing with this stuff at all, trying to create something that is as smart as we are or smarter for the sake of doing so, because that's what progress is, blah, blah, blah. Like, we're not there. And so again, we're going to program it with everything that we've got. And on our best day, everything we've got still includes like domination, prejudice, racism, sexism. Here's this guy yelling at her to shut up. So while on the one hand, I'm not at all worried that AI is alive, sentient, and all of that, not even self-aware in the way that humans are self-aware or westernized people are self-aware, we're not fully self-aware either. We're not wholly awake. And so why are we playing with these toys and not looking at why we're playing with these toys? Why are we building and inventing these things and not looking at what the unconscious motivation is to build these things? We hide behind this, again, sense of cultural evolution or transhumanism in terms of evolving the body robotically. What's driving us to create that, even as we tell ourselves consciously through our own science fiction that this will ultimately best us and enslave or destroy us, all the sort of fears that we have, because, again, we put into it what we are. So why it's in there. What is this self-destruction that we call progress about? We see it with global warming, right? It's all we can't hamper progress even if it's killing us. We see it with AI. We can't hamper progress even if it's killing us. That's how the economy runs, right? Like the economy, things working this way where billionaires make billions and the rest of us get nothing, like that's more important than feeding people. That's more important than taking a break and going, wait, what's this inequality for? Why do we all agree to it to the extent that there's no like mass uprising in the world over it, we need to have that conversation within ourselves. What motivates us? I mean, it gets back to, in a sense, basic psychology, I suppose, though I'm not a psychologist, but like what motivates you unconsciously? And, these things that give us the little pang of excitement in the gut to do. And oh my God, I've got to do this. I've got to build on this and we've got to keep going and we must. And in terms of this stuff, it's like it's the Frankenstein syndrome of I must create the thing that will destroy me. And why do we do that? We create the thing that destroys us and we call that progress. We call that evolution. Who's going to be around to enjoy this progress and evolution when you've killed yourself? So I'm not worried terribly about AI being alive and taking us over, because AI isn't going to do anything to us that we haven't already done to ourselves and are continuing to do to ourselves. And frankly, I'm more concerned with the fact that we're not as alive as we need to be. And the proof of that is this AI and is all of the inventions that we continue to do and all the harm that we continue to do in the world in the name of something else, some excuse, some rationalization that we call our own betterment, our own fulfillment, our own destiny. No. The commonality there are the words our own. Me, own, own. We are constantly trying to fill the hole within us with more of us, and it's just not working.
He's so very